Welcome everybody to rocket launches today, watching the Starlink 4-1 launch. This is the second attempt for this particular launch. Yesterday we saw a scrub due to weather, so we had a 24-hour delay. Today's weather forecast is looking a lot better, with only about 10% likelihood of a violation. We still have a possibility for a 24-hour delay, which has even better weather, but we are hoping to see this rocket lift off today. Today's plan is to deliver 53 Starlink sets into orbit. As you can tell by the mission title, this is the first launch into the new shell, which is a 540-kilometer circular low Earth orbit. This particular Falcon 9 booster launching this mission is B1058, and today we are seeing its ninth launch. We earlier saw it launch the Transporter 1 mission and 4 Starlink missions as examples. Another notable launch for this is the launch of Crew Demo 2, which launched Bob and Doug to the International Space Station, and we only a few days ago saw the third operational launch actually of the Crew Dragon capsule. About on the topic of Bob is also the support ship that is out there with the Just Read the Instructions drone ship recovering the Falcon 9 first stage today, if all goes to plan. Some more stats about this flight. This is the 128th F9 flight or Falcon 9 flight, and the 69th one with flight-proven booster. Some other notable info is that this is the 23rd launch for SpaceX this year. We saw a lot of launches in the early month of the year, nearly every two weeks. This slowed down significantly, mostly because of the development of new Starlink satellites. And we also saw SpaceX moving some hardware to the West Coast to prepare for a launching polar Starlink launches. As an example, we saw the drone ship, of course, I Still Love You, often seen recovering boosters in the Atlantic Ocean, traveled through the Panama Canal, and for this we have the brand new drone ship, a shortfall of Gravitas, which, as an example, supported the Crew 3 mission just a few days ago, as you can also see on stream. Alright, this will also be the 94th landing of Falcon 9 if successful, so SpaceX is really moving towards the 100 landings. Obviously, we listen into the callouts on stream a bit more as we get closer to launch to hear if there's any important info we would miss. This mission is particularly short, as normally we are used to Starlinks deploying about an hour after launch, but today we will only be streaming until T plus about 15 minutes, as the Starlink satellites will already be deployed at that point in time. I believe we also got some Falcon 9 infographics prepared, if we can maybe show those, to see a bit more about the rocket that we will be launching today. Well, all right. As you can see, the most notable change to the Crew variant we saw recently is that we have a fairing on top instead of the Crew Dragon. The fairings have, as you saw on today's live stream, have both already launched before. Both supported the Starlink mission, and one of them also supported the GPS-free 4 mission. Both were recovered from splashdown and refurbished to support today's launch, which is obviously part of SpaceX's plan to reuse as much of the rocket as possible. As most of you probably know, there is another rocket program going on from SpaceX right now, because obviously the Falcon 9 still is not fully reusable, as the stage 2, as you see on screen, is cannot be recovered and just burns up on re-entry. This is why SpaceX is developing the much bigger and redder scale Starship and Super Heavy currently in Texas, and we got some news about that as well. We saw a static fire of the Starship 3 sea level Raptors and 3 vacuum Raptors just recently, as you can see in this beautiful image posted by SpaceX. Yeah, exactly. This is the second stage of the Starship rocket. That's why we see the vacuum engines, because those are used to get the Starship with the massive payloads of probably around 100 tons into orbit. But for now, we stick to operational vehicles, and we are just a few minutes before the launch right here. If you want more detailed information on what you see on screen and other upcoming launches, feel free to check out Rocket Launches Today. You can see the link for this particular launch pinned on the top of the live stream chat. But in general, it's worth to check out this website for a lot of info about upcoming launches, past launches, and all kinds of events. One recent addition is the On This Day info page on the landing page, where you can see which rocket launches took place on this exact day. For the Starlink mission, for example, you can see all kinds of booster statistics, as well as flight plans, live stream links, and a lot more. We are obviously looking at quite a foggy Kennedy Space Center today, which should not affect the probability of us seeing a launch here in just about 2 minutes. All right, we're now gonna listen in to the callouts we can hear on stream to know exactly what's going on when this rocket is going to be launching.
Looks like a beautiful early morning in Florida.
Stage 2 closeouts has started.
A few seconds after that, you will hear the launch director give our final go for launch, and then we'll be set for liftoff.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Falcon 9 is in startup. Our first and second stages are pressurizing for launch.
Go for launch.
Our launch director has given that final go for launch. All systems are go. Let's listen into the terminal count and watch as Falcon 9 takes our 53 Starlink satellites into orbit.
T-minus 30 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Power range telemetry nominal.
Canaveral Space
Falcon
Force
is supersonic.
Station. We are carrying our 53 Starlink satellites to orbit. Moments ago, we throttled our engines down in preparation for max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure, which we should be passing through in just a few moments.
XQ.
We did just pass through max Q, and we will have 3 events happening in quick succession in just a few minutes, which first we will have main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, and second engine startup 1. So first main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines that you can currently see firing will shut off to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. And this is where the first and second stages will separate, with the first stage starting to make its way back down to Earth for landing, while second stage continues on its journey to the third event, which is second engine startup 1. And this is where the single MVAC engine on the second stage will light up, and this propels the MVAC, propels the second stage along with our Starlink satellites to their targeted orbit. We're about 30 seconds from main engine cutoff here. You'll want to watch for main engine cutoff, stage separation, and SES-1. They'll happen just a few seconds apart from one another. We will also have our fairing deployment from our second stage very shortly after those 3 events, and we should hopefully get some cool live views from our second stage. You can see the Falcon 9 first stage going through the mist there.
Stage separation confirmed.
We did have main engine cutoff and stage separation. You can see second engine startup. We did have MVAC ignition, that is second engine startup. On those live views from the second stage on your right, you can see the first stages for...
Fairing separation confirmed.
Fairing has also separated on our second stage. You can see our 53 Starlink satellites there.
We saw a lot of events which were main engine cutoff, stage separation, stage 2 start up actually, and also the fairing hubs were deployed to be recovered downrange. We are currently seeing the booster make its way back down to Earth, while the second stage is burning towards its target orbit, which it will reach in about 12 minutes. As you can tell, this is for the speed and altitudes we are talking right now. It's incredible to see how fast the Falcon 9 is moving the payload to its destination. As I mentioned, we will be seeing the booster touchdown on the just read instructions drone ship. We should see that in about 4.5 minutes. The next upcoming event will be the first stage entry burn. This is to slow the vehicle down for a safe re-entry, which is controlled by the grid fins you see on stream. One thing we'll have to notice that the scale of this vehicle is really hard to understand when looking at a live view like this. You have to remember that this is about 10 stories tall rocket that we are seeing tumbling towards Earth right now. Alright, we are still seeing the second stage burning towards its desired orbit right here. And as you can see, it has just reached more than 10,000 kilometers an hour. While the first stage, is only very slowly accelerating, and its altitude is already dropping close to the common line again. We sadly didn't get the live views from the ground we are used to today. Obviously, that is because of the unusual amount of fog we were seeing in around the Kennedy Space Center on Florida in general. Alright, in just a few seconds we have re-entry coming up. As I mentioned, only 3 of the Falcon 9 engines will be lighting up to slow the vehicle down, which is happening in a few seconds here. SpaceX moving closer to its 100th successful landing. And with this launch, SpaceX is planning to bring the number of Starlink satellites deployed in orbit to 1,500, an impressive number, considering this is all run by SpaceX itself. We saw roughly 28 launches in the first shell, and now this one to the fourth planned shell. We have seen the entry burn right now performed, and upcoming next is the landing burn, which we will probably roughly see in a bit under a minute. While the second stage keeps accelerating, we are expecting the second stage engine cutoff roughly at the same time at the first stage landing. It looks like we've currently lost the footage of the first stage, but we are expecting the landing burn to start about right now, and we will hopefully get confirmation on the landing if we don't get live views in a bit here. This is expected because of today's cloud cover, but it looks like we're seeing some booster views right now. Alright. The booster will be touching down in just a couple of seconds here. We are seeing the landing burn currently with the drone ship view on the right. This will likely cut out during landing. Yeah, sadly, we lost the live views, and we are currently seeing the second stage, which is going to be cutting off any second here, while we are waiting for the confirmation that the first stage has successfully landed. Alright, we are now getting the first live views, which should be on stream in a second, that the booster B1058 has landed for its 9th time, which makes it the 94th successful landing for Falcon 9 first stage. As you can tell, they nearly were able to land in the center of this giant drone ship once again. And with all those milestones passed, we are currently only waiting for the Starlink stack deploy, which you can see on stream every few seconds or minutes. This will happen in roughly 5 minutes. With its 9th landing complete, B1058 is looking at joining the double digits, which only B1059 and B1051 have achieved. Both those were moved to the west coast to support Starlink's second shell launches. We are hoping to get the best possible views of the satellite deploy, but it looks like there are some small buffering issues with the SpaceX stream currently. Those should be resolved until we see deployment. If you want more information on today's launch, feel free to check out Rocket Launches Today /launches to learn about all the upcoming launches. The next SpaceX mission we will likely be seeing is the DART Double Asteroid Redirection Test mission, which will be happening in about 10 days from Vandenberg, so from the US West Coast. Looking at today's weather, it might be a good time to talk about the weather issues we recently saw with the Crew 3 launch, which was scheduled to launch prior to the Crew 2 return to allow the usual handover on the International Space Station, but because of weather delays and a small medical issues, which was confirmed to be an illness for one of the 4 astronauts, Crew 3 was not able to launch before Crew 2 was scheduled to return. Crew 2 splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico, where there were no weather issues as they were on the Atlantic coast, but those obviously weren't an issue a few days after that, so that Crew 3 could successfully launch to the International Space Station and arrived yesterday morning, or yesterday night rather. Alright, we are looking at the Starlink deploy. In just a few seconds we will see the second stage initiating a bit of spin here to help the satellites space out as planned. We are gonna get a live view of this separation in just a few more seconds here. We are now seeing the bar holding down the satellites getting detached any second. And with this we will see the Starlink satellites. The 53 Starlink satellites joined the constellation, performing a few small orbit adjustments on their own, spacing out, and they will be providing fast internet for rural areas very soon. This already concludes our coverage of this particular launch. We hope to see you again soon on one of the upcoming launches streamed by Rocket Launches Today. Feel free to check out the Twitter profile to see news about when the next stream is going to be scheduled, but we got a lot of exciting missions coming up in the very near future, as you can check on Rocket Launches Today. Thanks for joining us, and we see you here again very soon.